Hello and welcome back to Saxon Math. This is Lesson 84, Order of Operations, Part 2. Recall that the four operations of arithmetic are addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. When more than one type of operation occurs in the same expression, we perform the operations in the order described below. You should perform the operations within parentheses, so that's the please. Multiply and divide from left to right. We can't forget parentheses and exponents. And then multiply and divide from left to right. And then you add and subtract from left to right. So that's please excuse my dear Aunt Sally if you didn't remember. So simplify 2 times 8 plus 2 times 6. So considering things that say parentheses, we have none of those. There are no exponents. But when we get to the multiplication step, multiply and divide from left to right. So we're moving from the left to the right. And anytime there's multiplying or dividing that occurs in that direction, we have to complete it. So we're going to do this 2 times 8, which is 16. We keep the plus symbol, but we have a 2 times 6 that needs to be done, which is 12. Now we do any division, if there was any, and there aren't any. And then we move on to step 3 here, which is part of the add and subtract from left to right. So moving from the left and to the right, you see that there's only one addition symbol in between the two of those. So that would end up being 28 as the final answer there. Multiplication and addition occur in this expression. So we multiply first and then we add. And that's all there is to it. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. Those are the steps we use to complete that. Some calculators are designed to recognize the standard order of operations and some are not. If a variety of calculator models are available in the classroom, you can test their design by using the expression from example 1. Enter these keystrokes. Let's give it a shot here. So we'll use a calculator and see if it's capable of doing the order of operations. So 2 times 8 plus 2 times 6. Let's see what happens. This particular calculator that I'm using in this software is capable of doing it because it ended up with 28. It's an algebraic logic calculator. So if you used a calculator that did not result in 28, that means it does not follow the algebraic logic calculator. It's not capable of following the please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. And it won't complete the transaction correctly. Let's simplify this. So again, we have to use please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. I see no parentheses. I see no exponents, but I do see division and multiplication. And just because it's listed as multiplication and then division and then addition and subtraction, that doesn't mean anything other than we do both of those operations, the multiplication and division, from left to right. So in this case, the 5/10 divided by 5/10 happens first. It's from left to right. And this 5/10 times this 5/10 happens second. And I need to keep this subtraction symbol and this addition symbol in those positions. So I'm going to complete this transaction. So 5/10 divided by 5/10 is 1. I just know that anything divided by itself is going to be equal to 1. 5 times 5 is 25, but I need to move the decimal over once, twice. So the decimal would be right in this position for this part of the answer. Now I complete the addition or subtraction from left to right. So moving across, I see 5/10 plus 1 is 1 and 5/10 minus 25 hundredths. That's a lot like $1.50 minus 25 cents. I know what that is. That's $1.25. So that should be my final answer. So first you have to multiply and divide from left to right, and you get your result from those two transactions, those two operations, and then you add and subtract from left to right. So you'd end up with 1 and 25 hundredths. Example 3, simplify. Again, we need to use please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. And remember, these are basically being done in these orders from left to right. Each one of those separately, this would be step 1, step 2, step 3. And since it's parentheses here, I see that's actually happening. I'm going to do everything inside the parentheses first. And everything on the outside, there is no symbol here. What does that mean? Anytime you have a parenthesis next to a number, that means this number times whatever's on the inside of the parentheses. So because we have to do to the parentheses first, we have 8 plus 6. So that kind of, you see how parentheses and exponents are always first? Well, even though it's got an addition symbol on the inside, that you have to consider that that's on the inside of the parentheses. So that's 14. So 8 plus 6 makes 14. And now we have to multiply that 14 times 2. That's what this means. And 14 times 2 is 28 as well. All right, let's try a few of those. So letter A, 5 plus 5 times 5 minus 5 divided by 5. So for letter A, I'm going to do the multiplication first here, and I'm going to do these division problems first. So I see that that would be, I'm going to just rewrite it, 5 plus 25 minus 1, because I know that this part is 25, I know this part is 1, and I need to keep these operations here. Now I just move from left to right. 5 plus 25 is 30, minus 1 makes 29. So that would be my answer for that one. Letter B, 32 plus 1 and 8 tenths times 20. So again, let me just rewrite this. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. So I need to do parentheses first. So what does that mean? 1 and 8 tenths times 20. That's what that means. And I need to do that problem. I can't figure that one out mentally right now, so I'm going to just bring this down. That 0 goes there. This is 16. 2 times 1 is 2, plus 1 makes 3. The decimal moves over one place to the left. So this part right here, this parentheses that was being done, would have been 36. And now I have to take 32 plus 36. So let me just add those together, and I end up with 68 for my final answer here. So this would be 68. And letter C. So for letter C, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. So I'm going to do no parentheses. I see no exponents. I do see multiplication. 4 times 3, and then I need to go from left to right. So this gets a little bit tricky here. So I've got to actually have this part done first, and then I have to divide 2 because that's still moving from left to right. So this part would be 12, but then I have to do the divide by 2, which ends up being 6. So this, between these two pieces right here, this would be 6 right here. So that's 5. I'm going to rewrite that, plus 6. I need this symbol. And then I need to subtract 1. So for working from left to right, 5 plus 6 is 11, minus 1 makes 10. So the answer to letter C should also be 10. All right, letter D. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. Let me just put letter D right here. I'm going to do parentheses first, so I can see 2 times 10 is 20, plus 2 times 6 is 12. Parentheses have to be done first, from left to right. So this one was done first, this one was done second. Now I need to work from left to right, and all I have is an addition operation in between those. This is simply 32. So the answer to this would be 32. Letter E. If you have 3 plus 3 times 3 minus 3 divided by 3. So I can see this piece right here. These two need to be done first. These would be done second. And if I do 3 times 3, that's 9. And 3 divided by 3 is 1. So I'm going to rewrite this. I've got 3 plus this 9 minus this 1. Now I just need to work from left to right. 3 plus 9 is 12. Minus 1 makes 11. So my final answer to this should be 11. And letter F. So for letter F, you have 2 times 10 plus 6. So doing parentheses first, I need to do everything on the inside for letter F. So that would be 16. So this would be 2 times 16. I'm just going to rewrite it like that because 2 times 16, I know what 10 plus 6 is, that's 16. And 2 times 16 equals 32. So that'd be the final answer for letter F. All right. That's it for order of operations in part 2. Make sure when you do your written practice 1 through 30, you do all of those problems. Saxon math only works when you complete 1 through 30 so that you get the previous practice from all the previous lessons. Have a great night.